after helping hundreds of men with the burning question they all have. Phillip, is she a narcissist? In this episode, I'm going to share my 5-step process for how to spot a female narcissist. So if you have been wondering whether the woman you are dating, married to, or trying to break free from might be a narcissist, then by the end of this episode, you'll know how narcissistic women actually treat their husbands or partners, the exact red flags you are missing right now, and what you can do to finally break free and get your life back. So let's get into it.
Welcome to the Narc Free Man Podcast.
Welcome back to the Narc Free Man Podcast. I'm Phillip Dugas, and I help men break free from toxic women, rebuild their identity, and step into the strong, grounded version of themselves they were always meant to be. Now listen, most men come into my world because they feel something they can't explain. They are confused. They are drained. Their confidence is gone. The woman they love feels off. Something is wrong, but they can't name it. And that's the confusing thing about female narcissists. They don't look like the monster. They don't sound like the villain. They don't act toxic. Well, not at first. They show up with softness, warmth, charm, intensity, connection, the fairy tale the man has waited for years for. But once she has him emotionally hooked, everything changes. Today, I'm going to break down all of that down. You are about to learn the 5 clearest signs that you are dealing with a female narcissist. I call these the 5 lenses. Once you see through them, you'll never fall for the act again. Now, here's why most men can't spot narcissistic women. I hear this from men every day. Like, how did I miss this? Or how did I let it get this far? Or why didn't anyone warn me? Why does she act loving one minute and hateful the next? Why do I feel like I'm losing myself? Brother, here's why. Female narcissists are master actresses. They study you, mirror you, become everything you want. They shapeshift to your childhood wounds. They match your needs with precision. They appear like the one because they analyze you like a project. A male narcissist will show his arrogance quickly. A female narcissist hides behind emotion, behind softness, behind charm, behind helplessness, and behind innocence. And this confuses good men, especially good men with good hearts, because men don't expect evil to come wrapped in sweetness, right? And that's exactly why you are here today, to learn what other men never learned, to see what other men never saw, to break cycles other men never escaped. Here are the 5 ways to spot a female narcissist. These aren't theories. These aren't guesses. These come from hundreds of coaching sessions, hundreds of stories from broken men that reach out to me every day in my DMs, psychological patterns, real experience, real pain, and real transformations. I'm giving you the clearest framework you'll ever hear. Let's break this down step by step. Sign number 1, the intensity is too fast, too soon. If you want to spot a narcissistic woman early, this is the first big sign. She falls in love with you faster than what's normal and pushes a relationship pace most healthy women don't. Let me explain this in simple terms. Healthy women take their time. They want to observe. They want to learn you. They want emotional safety. They want to see how you show up as a man. They don't rush emotional intimacy. But narcissistic women, they bypass the entire getting to know you phase. Why? Because their goal isn't love, it's control. And the fastest way to control a man is through intensity, attention, affection, flattery, you are my soulmate energy, the I've never felt this way before, the you are the only one who understands me, the we are perfect together. She creates a false reality that feels magical, addictive, emotional, and deep. But it's not deep, it's fast. And fast is the tool narcissistic women use to hook you. Let me give you the male experience. At first, the intensity feels amazing. You think you won the lottery. You think you found a unicorn. You think God finally blessed you. But brother, what you really found is a fishing hook wrapped in glitter. Because the moment you are in, that's when the real manipulation begins. Love bombing is not love, it's emotional bait. Sign number 2, her words feel one way, but her actions feel another. There is always a gap between her words and her actions. She says things like, I care about you, or I want us to work, or I didn't mean to hurt you, or you mean everything to me. But her behavior, cold, distant, moody, disrespectful, dismissive, confusing, unpredictable, emotionally unstable. And that gap between words and actions is not accidental, it's strategic. It keeps you confused. It keeps you trying. It keeps you chasing the good version of her. It keeps you trying to win her approval. Let me tell you the psychology behind this. Narcissistic women create emotional whiplash on purpose because when you are confused, you are easier to control. Healthy women want clarity. Narcissistic women feed on chaos. If her words say love, but her actions say pain, that is not normal. That is not healthy. That is not confusion. That is manipulation. Sign number 3. She has a victim story for everything. She plays the victim in every part of her life. Every ex hurt her. Every friend betrayed her. Everyone is jealous. Everyone is against her. Everyone misunderstood her. Everyone treated her unfairly. Brother, healthy women don't have everybody as enemy, but narcissistic women use victimhood as a weapon. Victimhood is how she gets sympathy, protection, attention, special treatment, control of your emotions. Her victimhood pulls you into rescuer mode. And once you become her rescuer, she becomes your controller because now she has something powerful over you, your empathy. A female narcissist weaponizes the very thing that makes you a good man, your compassion. But here's the truth. You cannot fix a narcissistic woman because she gains power by staying broken and because narcissists frankly do not change. Sign number 4, your reality starts to feel confusing. This is one of the biggest signs, and often the one men don't realize until years later. Your reality begins to feel unstable. You second guess yourself. You walk on eggshells. You don't know what mood she's in. You apologize for things you didn't do. You question yourself more than you ever have before. You feel wrong but can't explain why. You feel drained instead of lifted. You feel smaller instead of stronger. This is called narcissistic fog. It's the mental confusion created by gaslighting, mixed signals, emotional punishment, silent treatments, sudden affection, sudden coldness, and blame shifting. Your brain becomes overwhelmed, your confidence cracks, and your identity weakens. And that is when she has peak control. Female narcissist destroys your internal compass So you stop trusting yourself, because the moment you stop trusting yourself, you start trusting her. And that's where the trap tightens. Sign number 5, you feel drained, anxious, or unstable around her. Last sign is the most important, and it's the one most men ignore. Your body knows before your mind does. If you feel anxious, tense, drained, small, unstable, exhausted, off balance, insecure, confused, emotionally tired, every time you are around her, that is your nervous system telling you this isn't love. This is danger. Your body is not dumb. Your body has been warning you. Your body knows trauma. Your body knows manipulation. Your body knows instability. Healthy relationships bring peace. Narcissistic and toxic relationships bring chaos. Love does not drain you. Love does not confuse you. Love does not make you feel crazy. Love does not make you feel weak. Love builds. Narcissistic women destroy. All right, brother. Now that we have laid the foundation, it's time to go deeper. I want to take you inside the real world psychology behind narcissistic women and show you how their patterns play out using stories from men I have worked with, men I have coached, and men who have written to me, men just like you. All identifying details are changed for privacy, but the patterns are exactly the same. Because here's the truth. A female narcissist is consistent. She is predictable. And once you understand the psychology behind her behavior, you see the script every single time. So let's dive into it. Now, here's the first story I'll share. The too good to be true woman. I worked with a man named, let's call him Daniel. He's successful, disciplined, logical thinker. He's the kind of guy who believed he could spot manipulation from a mile away. Then he met her. He told me this exact line. Phillip, I didn't fall for her. I fell for the version of me she made me feel like. When a narcissistic woman mirrors you, she becomes whatever you need, whatever you lack, whatever wounds you have never healed. She studies you, your language, your jokes, your traumas, your values, and reflects it back perfectly. Now, here's the psychology behind it. This is called targeted mirroring. It's not affection. It's not compatibility. It's reconnaissance. She's gathering data, and the purpose of that data is simple: gain access, gain attachment, gain emotional leverage. The more she mirrors, the safer you feel. The safer you feel, the faster you bond. And the faster you bond, the more power she has. This is why men tell me, she felt like my soulmate in week 2, or I have never connected with someone so fast. It was like she knew me better than my ex-wife. Brother, that's not connection, that's engineering. Daniel thought he was in love, and that's exactly what she wanted, because the moment she secured his emotional investment, everything changed. Now let's get into another story. Another man I coached, we'll call him Chris. His ex had a pattern. Every disagreement, every mistake, every uncomfortable moment turned into a dramatic story about how someone in her past hurt her. Like, my childhood was awful, or everyone betrayed me. People always mistreat me. Every story made Chris feel more guilty, more responsible, more protective. He thought he was helping her heal, but what he didn't realize was this psychological truth. A narcissistic woman uses victimhood as emotional handcuffs. Let me repeat that. Victimhood is her favorite control strategy, because when she plays the victim, you become the protector. You become the fixer. You become the emotional caretaker. You become responsible for her moods, tears, breakdowns, and outbursts. Chris told me it felt like I was carrying her emotions on my back every single day. That's what she wanted. Not healing, control through guilt. Now here's the psychology behind it. Narcissistic women do not process accountability. They cannot hold emotional responsibility. So they weaponize your empathy to keep you trapped. And the more you feel sorry for her, the more she owns your decision making. Now this next story is one you may relate to deeply. A man named Jacob told me something powerful. He said it was like she flipped a switch and turned into another person overnight. 1 month, she was affectionate. The next month, she was cold, distant, irritated, and hard to read. One day, she praised him. The next day, he couldn't do anything right. One morning, she said, "I love how you lead." That night, she said, "Why are you always controlling everything?" Brother, that shift wasn't random. That shift was the beginning of devaluation. Now, here's the psychology behind it. Narcissistic women idealize you when they want to secure your loyalty, and they devalue you the moment they believe they have it. The switch flip is her way of testing your self-esteem, testing your tolerance, testing how much abuse you'll justify, testing how deeply she can influence your emotions. And here's the twisted part. The more confused you feel, the stronger her psychological grip becomes. Jacob told me, "Every day I felt like I was trying to win back the woman I met at the beginning. But the woman he met, she never existed. Only the performance existed. And once the performance ends, the psychological conditioning begins." Now, another man, let's call him Anthony. He dealt with a narcissistic woman who wasn't loud, wasn't dramatic, and wasn't explosive. She weaponized silence, talking no yelling, no screaming, and no chaos. Just cold withdrawal. And Anthony told me the silence hurt worse than the fights. And here's why. Silent manipulation forces you to chase her. It makes you feel like you did something wrong. You need to fix the problem. You need to apologize. You need to earn her affection back. So here's the psychology behind that. A narcissistic woman uses silence as a punishment tool. It starves you emotionally until you question your worth. The quieter she gets, the louder your insecurity becomes. And that's the point. Silent manipulation creates dependence. Anthony found himself apologizing for things he didn't even do, just to make the silence stop. That's psychological abuse. Not loud, not obvious, but deadly to a man's identity. Another man, Liam, told me that he was confused 90% of the relationship. That confusion didn't happen by accident. It was engineered. And here's how. She would say one thing on Monday and the opposite on Tuesday, he told me. He said that she would accuse him of things she was doing. She would change stories, deny conversations, twist meaning, and rewrite reality. And what does that confusion do? Well, confusion creates dependence. When your mind can't find stability, you cling to the relationship for answers. You cling to the person who created the confusion, hoping they'll give you clarity. That creates trauma bonding. Here's the psychology behind that. Cognitive dissonance. The mental stress of holding two conflicting beliefs is one of the strongest psychological traps. And narcissistic women use it expertly. Liam stayed longer than he should have because his brain kept searching for the version of her that only existed in the beginning. That's how the trap works. Now let's talk about a man named Marcus who didn't realize he was being abused. He thought he was just tired, but the more we talked, the clearer it became. He lost hobbies, he lost energy, he lost sleep, he lost confidence, he lost friends, and he lost his identity. He wasn't tired. He was being emotionally drained. A narcissistic woman doesn't take your money first. She takes your energy. Because if she takes your energy, she takes your power. Narcissists feed off emotional reactions, positive or negative. The more you feel, the more she absorbs. The more she drains you, the weaker you become. And the weaker you become, the easier you are to control. Marcus said, "It felt like I was disappearing." And that's exactly what happens. Piece by piece, slowly, silently, until you wake up one morning and don't recognize the man in the mirror. Now, not all stories end in destruction. One of my clients, Ethan, escaped the cycle and rebuilt his life in ways he didn't think were possible. Here's what he told me. He said, "The moment I understood the psychological pattern, I stopped blaming myself." That's the turning point. Because when you understand the pattern, you stop personalizing her behavior. You stop trying to fix her. You stop seeking her approval. You stop responding to manipulation. You stop believing her lies. You stop doubting your own perception. And when all of that stops, her power collapses. Ethan got his strength back. He rebuilt his nervous system. He restored his identity. He created boundaries he never had before. He stopped looking at love through a wounded lens. He told me, "I finally feel like myself again." Brother, recovery is possible. Freedom is possible. Clarity is possible. And it starts with understanding the psychology you are dealing with. Brother, if you are still here listening, it tells me one thing. You are done living confused. You are done questioning yourself. You are done letting a toxic woman define your reality. And that alone puts you ahead of 99% of men who stay stuck in denial. Because once you understand how to spot a female narcissist, the next step is knowing how to leave her without losing yourself or your future. You have heard me say this before. Narcissistic relationships don't end in one moment. They end in phases: clarity, preparation, separation, and rebuild. Most men get the first phase, but they have no roadmap for the rest. And that's why they stay stuck or return to her abuse or walk away but never actually heal. So if you want the complete step-by-step plan, the exact system hundreds of men have used to break free safely, strategically, and with their dignity intact, then you need to get my book, How to Leave a Female Narcissist, the field guide for men who are done being manipulated. Inside the book, I walk you through how to break the trauma bond so you stop going back, how to emotionally detach from her control, how to prepare your exit without triggering her rage, and what to expect the moment the mask comes off, and how to rebuild your identity, confidence, and purpose, and how to choose emotionally healthy woman moving forward if that's what you choose. It's simple, it's practical, it's written for men who want clarity, direction, and peace. So if this episode hit you, then this book will change your life. Go to my website, phillipcdugas.com, or click the link in the show notes below and grab your copy of How to Leave a Female Narcissist today. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay confused. And you sure as hell don't have to stay controlled. You can break free. You can rebuild. And you can become the man you were meant to be. Until next time, stay calm, stay steady, and stay narc free.